Many think people-pleasing is about kindness. They imagine the polite coworker who always brings cupcakes, the friend who says whatever you want with a smile. They don't see the toll it takes when it's not kindness at all, but compulsion. For some of us, it's not a habit. It's a survival mechanism with its own pulse. Some of us learned early that our needs were inconvenient. A wrong tone, a slow answer, a look on our face could spark an argument or worse. We kept the air smooth at all costs. We studied people like a second language, erasing ourselves until there was nothing left to offend. Our own thoughts became suspect, our instincts questioned. Every desire measured against a silent rulebook we didn't write, every impulse examined for danger or offense. We start to believe that speaking up, setting a preference, or simply doing things the way we want makes us unkind or selfish or a bad person. And when others manipulate us into guilt, we obey, thinking it's safer to sacrifice ourselves than face conflict. We lose track of what we truly feel, what we truly think, or maybe we never even really knew, until the line between our truth and their expectation is invisible. These patterns didn't end with childhood. They followed us into adulthood, morphing quietly. Gaslighting taught us our perceptions were unreliable. Neglect taught us our feelings didn't matter, so we kept pleasing, accommodating, shrinking, long after the danger had left the room, telling ourselves, "It's me, I'm difficult, it's probably all my fault." The mantra hums beneath every yes, every nod, every visible compromise. Often we don't even see it, it's automatic. A survival wiring so old it feels like instinct, not a learned pattern. And that bargain worked for a while, until it didn't. Living as a peacekeeper means your body holds every war you never fought, the resentment you never spoke, the grief you never grieved. It stores them in your stomach, in your chest, in the quiet ache you call just stress. But slowly, it eats you alive. We learned to give because withholding felt dangerous. A glance could trigger a mother's anger, a father's disappointment. We learned to disqualify our feelings, to second-guess desires before they formed. We learned to blend, to mold, to become everyone else's expectation until we didn't even know the shape of our own face. Highly attuned minds, sensitive, scanning, absorbing everything, catch the subtleties others miss. We notice the silent shifts, the unsaid irritations, the weight of unspoken demands. And sometimes it feels like a gift, like insight, like responsibility. But it's also a double-edged sword. We can predict a storm before it forms, and yet we carry the lightning inside ourselves. Add in neurodivergence, the slow drip of childhood abuse, the gaslighting that teaches your truth is wrong, the codependency that says your worth is in service, and maybe the long nights numbed with drugs or alcohol just to survive. And the equation is brutal. We don't just people please, we become people-pleasing machines, silent reactors to every ripple around us, tuning out our own pulse, forgetting to ask, what do I actually want? And what do we get for it? A brittle body, worn out from carrying invisible loads, a mind that can't rest because the echoes of "what if I upset them?" never stop. Relationships that feel shallow or resentful because one half of us is always giving and the other half is starving. Eventually, it erupts. It can be subtle, creeping. Insomnia, anxiety, depression, an ache that never leaves. Or dramatic, illness, cancer, breakdowns that feel like your own body and mind are betraying you. The body and the soul finally say enough. They can't take it anymore. We carry it all, whether anyone asked us to or not. Their moods, their disappointment, their quiet dissatisfaction, silent expectations. It piles on in silence, layer after layer, until we feel buried under a 1,000-pound weight made of invisible hands and unvoiced demands. We bend beneath it, stoop to keep it from tipping over, and strangely, it feels like our job to shield them from themselves, to smooth the rough edges of their days. Suddenly, the safety net we were building for everyone else snaps, and we're falling into the open air of our own reality. That eruption is messy. It's not a hero's journey. It's not clean. It's rage, grief, confusion, and liberation all tangled together. And there, in the wreckage of our own long compliance, we discover a question we've never allowed ourselves to ask. Do I even want this? Is this my choice or my guilt? There's freedom in naming it, in seeing the pattern for what it really is. Not kindness, not virtue, not a badge to wear. It's survival strategy. And it's a pattern that can be changed. Not easily, not without pain, but changed nonetheless. The work is seeing yourself clearly, all the ways you bent, all the ways you swallowed, all the ways you protected others while being consumed. It's looking at the history of your body's sacrifices and saying, I hear you, I see you, and I will not add more. It's a radical act to pause before saying yes, to listen to the stirrings of your own desires, to take a breath and truly ask, do I want this? Or am I doing it because guilt feels safer than conflict? Sometimes the answer is still yes, and sometimes it's no. The difference is you're choosing, not defaulting. You're learning that the world can survive your honesty, that real love is healthier with boundaries, that people can survive you setting limits, that you can survive yourself reclaiming your own space. People-pleasing leaves traces, echoes in the voice, in the posture, in the habits, but you can trace them back to their source, not to shame yourself, but to understand, to see the cost, and to make new agreements with yourself about what you will carry and what you will release. Because here's the truth. Letting go of compulsion doesn't make you cruel, selfish, or unkind. It makes you alive, it makes you human, it makes you honest. It makes you capable of real connection because you're finally bringing all of yourself, not just the version you believed fits everyone else's expectations. The volcano inside us is not a mistake, it's a signal. It's a body, a soul, a mind telling us enough. And when we listen, even reluctantly, even fearfully, we step into a life where obligation is no longer the pilot, where guilt doesn't dictate our calendar or our conversations, where we can sit in the raw, uncomfortable truth of our wants and our boundaries and finally breathe. People-pleasing certainly doesn't vanish overnight. Those old habits claw at you. The reflex to acquiesce is embedded in your marrow, but you can catch yourself. You can pause. You can ask, is this mine or theirs? Am I responsible for their happiness? For shielding them from every imagined danger? For their choices? The answer is no. None of it is yours to carry. And every time you choose for yourself, even in the smallest way, you practice freedom. You honor the self that was buried, dismissed, manipulated, the self that your upbringing taught you to hide, and slowly the volcano stops being just a threat. It becomes a guide, not to explode or destroy, but to remind you that your life, your choices, your voice, your body belong first to you. Each pause, each honest yes or no is a step toward living fully with all of yourself finally allowed to exist.